Gaan ek wel begin?
Ja, go.
Coach, ideally, what would you want from this game? What do you want to see? Because obviously you have a few experienced guys like Marcel and Kerwin and those, but also maybe a few youngsters there in the team. What realistically do you want from this team, from this game? And then second question, what have you learned from the Stormers game against Storm?
I think, to be honest, it's a great occasion, but we will definitely be a little bit underprepared and from where we want to be. Obviously, we're building up to the URC, and that's still a few weeks away, so we don't want to peak now. So therefore, I think we're trying some new stuff, and we try to expand on our game from last season. So if we can see some of those signs, that will be probably the first thing. Um, it will be a tough ask to play against the international side for 80 minutes. It's again, like I say, it's not to use an excuse, but the fact that we went to the final, we had less time to prepare than the other franchises, and therefore there's few things we did tweak and implement it. This will be a massive test because you're gonna do it not against in a warm-up game against somebody where you can trial and error. You do it against the best side, one of the best sides in the world, and if you get it wrong, they can probably punish you. But that's why we just want to embrace the occasion and embrace the this. And then I think what we learned from the Stormers is that that you can build a bit of pressure on the All Blacks, but saying that is that they still finding probably. I think when you look at the series they played against Italy and Ireland and those guys, I think they found a combination that they feel work. But I think Dave Rennie is trying to just see, who else can push for this jersey. So maybe they're a little bit individualistic at the moment where they're fighting for those spots. So one have to take that in account. It is a change of environment. It is a change of traveling guys getting used to playing in South Africa. So in a sense, we don't want to read too much in that Stormers game. I think they're just going to get better and better, and we expect that they're going to probably, obviously come with a test match mentality on Saturday because it's a week before the first test. So I think ultimately, we just want to see if we can get a bit of reward of what we tried to practice in this last couple of weeks. For though, like I said, the time was a bit against us to really put it in place like we wanted.
Where would you be if, with regards to your preparation, if you didn't have this game?
Oh no, we would probably only just returned and from the break, and of course we had to cut. So we have to give the guys a 5-week break. We could only give them 3 weeks. Otherwise, you can imagine if we gave them 5 weeks, they only would have started rugby last week. We are physically, we just wouldn't be. The problem is that it's not that conditioning is the one thing, but your body after 3 weeks, 4 weeks lose all its contact ability. So now we had to fast track all that. So if this game wasn't there, we would have probably been in a conditioning phase only. We wouldn't have touched much rugby from this side, and then started only to build it up from the beginning to the end of this month to the beginning of September. So it has put a bit of pressure on us from that side. And the challenge is also your preseason is your only time where you get to play around your stuff, because you normally play a warm-up match or two and you trial stuff and you see if it works and you try to see what players are in form. And now we're just picking on basically on the squad that we've got left, and then the odd guys that is unlucky not to be selected has been picked because of maybe of training, so that is a bit unfair, but yeah, that's the hand we've got.
Because obviously there's quite a few unique challenges before this match, but how nice would it be to gain one over All Blacks? I know you've played against them twice as a player. How nice would it be to?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're competitive, and we're gonna give them a run for their money, hopefully, and that's the aim. We don't want to make it easy, so even though that they probably, from a rugby point of view, more rapid, battle hardened, we're gonna give it a bash, and we still believe if we do the things well, we can upset them and push them all the way. But yeah, I mean, it's a great privilege. It's a great privilege to play against the All Blacks in any format. If it is for the Barbarians, if it is for South Africa, if it is for the Vodacom Bulls, and this is a occasion that a lot of the players will remember for always. So it's a obviously fond memories for me that played a lot in New Zealand, either Super Rugby or the Test match that I played there. But it's also a bit of a sad reminder, because the one thing I will always think about is what if I didn't get injured in my fourth test a week before they played their last three match test series in '96. I got injured, and I knew that's the last time the All Blacks toured South Africa, and we wanted to play in that, and then I got injured, and now the Springboks is on the verge of making history again, playing in a test match series. So it's a great privilege. So yeah, it's great to have the All Blacks in South Africa, and it's a great challenge for these players.
Just at that point, which game did you get injured?
I got again on Bloemfontein against Australia. It was part of the Tri Nations, so we finished that, and then they stayed behind. The All Blacks would have coming for that last 3-match test series. Yeah.
And I mean, does stuff like that factor in, like missing out and you coaching against them now? Does it factor into your thinking, say, looking at this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously it's different for the players that, for me, thinking about what I missed out, and now they're on the verge. Hopefully the players will realize what great opportunity this is. But it's not about me now, it's about them and the opportunity they get. But, it's hopefully they will grab this opportunity and always have it in the memory bank, because it is stuff that you reflect on, and even more so for the Springboks, because it's if you play this test series, there's no guarantees you're going to be in the next one, when they come back to South Africa again. So it is a great privilege.
Coach, in terms of how the project you have, obviously quite new faces, in terms of injuries, what sort of spot can we sort of expect to see on Thursday? Are we going to kind of see as strong as you kind of can go, or we are extra?
No, we're going to go as strong as we can, barring the Springboks that's not available, and Akker van der Merwe who's injured, and Sebastian de Klerk that's injured. All the other names that's available will play. So even the new guys that joined us, obviously there's still a few guys that must come, like Luan and Sangu and Dylan Mark, but they with their Curry Cup teams and so on. So, but in all the other names, and the regulars like Harold Foster and Stedman Khans and those guys will be out there. You would have
And you guys, the sort of current area, how they sort of settled in?
No, great. I think the outstanding thing is how they adapted to us. They came in and just slotted in so amazingly. Just the character of the people they are. Takir, Andrew, Kerwin, all of them, they just slotted in, and they've already contributed, even though they haven't played. Just the way they deal with the players, just the way they contribute on the field is amazing.
It's just on the box, no other, apart from Emira's Papier that's released earlier, no other box will release to.
No, it doesn't look like it. Obviously, again, we are a bit in the challenge at hooker with Akker out. But it seems to me they're hanging on to all the hookers.
I saw Ambrose running on his own. Is he got a niggle, or is he fine?
No, we just swapped in. So we try to split the volume between the starting and the rebench. So they know they have to swap in after certain minutes.
Coach, thank you.
Oh, sorry. What did you have to do differently to try and sort of fit this match in terms of your?
No, Sim, it's just simple. We came in and we did our testing, and then straight after testing we went, with the ball in hand. We had to start with our principles, and we have to start with for 1 week and mix and match the conditioning in there. Where normally your first 2-3 weeks you just hardly touch a rugby ball. You just basically build the foundation, and we had to almost skip that part and go straight in week 2 with the ball in hand and start putting structure in place and so on. So that's basically just forced you to get more a rugby mind ahead on or quite earlier, where if you got 12 weeks, you build it up slowly, you know. So that's the only challenge. And like I said, there's no replacement for game fitness. And obviously we haven't played a game until Saturday. So that's going to be the challenge. But I said to the players, you know, and we could see it with the Stormers. I think the Stormers were all the way in the fight, and then one or two maybe moments where the fatigue kicked in cost them. So I think they were in the same scenario. And I said to them, if we can tick the boxes, we're happy. If it is 80 minutes, great. If it is 50 minutes, that we really do what we try to implement, that's great. But I'm just looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully the most important thing, you know, is obviously the privilege and the occasion is massive. But after the 80 minutes that we got no injuries.
Our coach, you must be very happy with the performance of Cameron on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I
How
think,
pleasing was that?
yeah, no, I mean, Cameron's, we could see that at the end of the URC, how he started to play better and better. And you know, that's why I think he will just get better, especially, you know, playing at that level again, bring a lot of confidence to the way he performed. And I think, you know, all the Vodacom Bulls players were good, but obviously Cammy had one of his best games.
Opposite. Oh, sorry. Now, just lastly, did you need to pull up some guys from the Curry Cup squad for your 23?
Yeah, at the moment it's our hooker, so he's with us, John Ray Skuman. And then we've all our backup guys is from the Curry Cup, so they will warm up with us. Our third Lucet, of third 9, of 10. So they all will warm up, and they got the detail that if somebody is not available, they will slot in. So here's a few Curry Cup guys that is involved. One playing, but others are just on covering.
The more we talk about altitude, the more these teams come here and make it look like it doesn't exist. So I probably need to choose my words carefully about the next question. Obviously, it's day first, this All Blacks' first game at altitude, which is probably the game that sets up, you know, everything in terms of the tests next weekend. Do you expect that to be an ally?
We will hope so, Sim, but like you said, you know, I said it in the past. When you guys asked me, I said altitude is not going to win the game for you, and you need to be clinical, you need to play well, and yeah, and then it can be an ally. If you're not in the fight come 60, 70, because that's when it kicks in, you know, then you go, there's no point. But again, you know, looks like the weather is, it feels that New Zealand is in the country, so suddenly we got New Zealand weather, and they're getting the coldest Saturday that we had for 4 weekends, and then we play 7 o'clock in the evening. That also doesn't help, you know, instead of 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So there is a bit stuff that cancel that out, that favors them. But again, you know, it's an 80-minute game where we're gonna try and enforce our stuff, and they're gonna try and force their stuff. We know how they play. They try to keep the ball in play, and they play at a fast pace, and we have to match that, you know. So I think that's the secret. I don't think they're gonna change that, even though they're altitude, because the first test is at altitude. In fact, I thought they will, when they come into South Africa, they will actually base themselves in Joburg and then fly to Stormers and play there, and fly to Durban, and because then they would have already acclimatized us.
Yeah.
But the fact that they come now, maybe our game will be a bit of a struggle for them, but then by the test, I think they'll be calm.
Johan, you know they bring you well from your Japan days. You know what you expect from him and how he operates, how he thinks.
No, I mean, Dave Rennie, I've got a lot of respect for. He was a massive influence on our Lions days. Myself and Sways were a bit down in the dumps, 2014. Although we knew it's a new team, it's our first year back in Super Rugby. We played the Chiefs in Hamilton, where he was the coach, and we lost badly, and spoke to him afterwards out on the field, and he told us, you know, if we got a philosophy and we've got a style that we want to play, just hang in there, because obviously that year they went and won the Super Rugby, and and also, you know, the fact that they play quite a exciting brand was quite a mind shift how we want to play, and shared a few ideas, and then came back and we stuck to our guns on how we wanted to play, and it worked for us. And then obviously, like you said, we saw him a few times around the world, but every team he goes to, one thing he gets right is the culture of the team, and then they play a fast game. If they now with Kobe that won the Japan League, just goes see how much ball and play they have, the high score they got. So yeah, so that's his style, and I don't think he's going to change that. He's gonna keep pushing the guys to have a high skill set and to back that skill set.